Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Conversations, and backed by popular demand, Mr. Brent Smith. Brent, our show the other day went really well. We had a lot of views, and I have had a lot of phone calls and texts. Hey, get Brent back on there, and y'all talk some more. So we're going to have a conversation today. But to let everybody know who this gentleman is, he is a former Beaufort County Commissioner. You were in District 1, and at that time, you served for a term. Okay. And then, Brent, you were also a chairman of the local Republican Party.
Correct.
For how long were you?
2 years.
2 years, 2-year term?
1 term, 2-year term.
All right. Okay, great. So you kind of know the landscape of politics around Beaufort County, and you also know the landscape around the national scene and the state scene. You keep up with things. So this will be an interesting conversation today because we're going to dive into some politics just a little bit. And we put the teaser out there so everybody would know that we're going to talk about the dirty tricks of politicians, how they keep control and consolidate their power. And that could be a deep dive right there. I mean, right off the bat, I start thinking of Congress. I start thinking of Washington, D.C. The minute you talk about that.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty up there, huh?
Man, I honestly believe, I like what Tim Burchett says. This is not a swamp. This is a sewer.
Yeah.
It's a cesspool. I mean, he got up there and he immediately saw the corruption and how this very thing that you're talking about, the dirty tricks, do nothing but put distrust in the system.
And Congress, I think, is at an all-time low once again.
Oh gosh, they're polling up there with COVID, you know, and the repercussions of COVID, all the regulations of COVID. They're polling with masks. Okay,
exactly, yeah.
All right. So, what are some of the things that you've seen at the national level of how some of these politicians operate for various reasons, but more to keep power and benefit from their position?
Yeah, you know, we were talking earlier. I think one of the things that they use is sometimes they use their staff, right?
Yeah.
That plausible deniability. They'll use staff members to do some of the dirty tricks and then throw their hands up afterwards and say, we didn't know that, he was doing that.
I'm going to fire them.
He's out of here. So that's something you'll see at the national level.
It's all orchestrated from the get-go. You see that type of stuff. You see it at every level. All the department heads, they have some politicians pulling their strings nonstop.
Well, don't forget about the political action committees too.
Oh gosh.
Because that's, even though it's completely legal, it's a head scratcher because, there's a lot of information going out through the PACs that kind of lead into some of the things that I'm going to talk about. That's just, it's just not fair.
And who's funding the PACs? Who's donating and giving and supporting the PACs? Special interests.
And, you've got to go down a rabbit hole to find out who's funding those PACs. But usually you can find that with a little work. But, that's something that can be pretty stressful if you're a new candidate trying to get started and, you're working against PACs. That's something, whether you're at the national level, state level, or local level, that's something that's very challenging, especially if you're a newcomer.
Yeah. You see this stuff filtering down from Washington, D.C. down to the state level, the state legislature. It's all the same, man. It's just a miniature version of Washington, D.C. And then miniaturize it a little bit more, get right into the county and city levels. It's there too. I mean, what you being a part and being in the political structure here in Beaufort County, what have you seen just in your time when you were in office and since then, and being a chairman of the Republican Party? What did you see then? What did you see happening at just local level?
Everything. I mean, everything that's at a micro level here, it's at a macro level at the top. It's just, filtered down. It's just done differently. And the thing that bothers me the most about some of these dirty tricks we're going to get into is really it takes away your voice. It takes away the voter's voice because your candidates that normally would have run, maybe a business owner here in the county, they can get smeared by some of these tactics and it can hurt business. Yeah. And so, or if it's just somebody, locally that's just wants to put their name in the game, it can be devastating, when these tricks are used against you, and really, from character assassination, politically speaking, to all kinds of different things. It just makes people not want to run, which really, I think, hurts us as a community and as citizens, because we're not getting to affect our voice with our candidate, which is our voice. And so what you end up with whether it's, local funding of the Good Old Boy Network or a political action committee. You get the people that they want in there versus the people that you want in there.
And all these dirty tricks diminish our representation.
It just turns people off,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
It turns people off because they just think, I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to even be involved in politics at all.
Yeah.
And even though that's terrible because that's political apathy, I also understand how that is happening.
Right.
Across the
it
nation.
Scares people.
Yeah,
I mean,
across the nation. I forget what it was, David, and you're better with these numbers than me, but we've got over 50,000 people here in Bedford
56,000.
56,000 people. And how many people voted in the last, let's say, primary? Do we know?
If you go down to the primary level, you're probably in the 6,000 people range, and that's pitiful.
Yeah.
And in big elections, we'll get up to 12, 13,000, but we've got 29,000 registered voters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people staying
so
away.
12 to 15,000 people out of a county of 50,000 people are deciding who's going to run the county.
Yeah. And the people should be running the county.
The people should be running the county.
And when they disengage, when they disengage, they just give up. They're not running the county anymore because their voice isn't being heard at all.
Right.
Not even at the voting booth.
Right.
Okay. So over the years, I've thought about people, man, he would make a great commissioner. Man, he would make a great mayor.
Yeah.
And I've asked the people, hey, have you ever considered running?
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I've heard this. No, this is what I've heard. Yeah, I've considered it, but I don't want to put my family through it.
Yeah.
Because they know the things that you're about to talk about come into play, and it absolutely can hurt a family, the family unit.
It can destroy your business,
yeah.
can destroy a family.
Right.
There's so many things. And to your point, local business leader, business owner like yourself, you're like, hey, you know what? I'll report on it, but I don't want to get in it.
Oh no,
and I get it.
There's no way I would get in it if I thought everything was fair and square, and I had the time.
Yeah, it's a different story.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not. And why don't you peel the onion just a little bit for us?
All right, so let's just start off with the first of the dirty tricks that you're going to see locally and even at a national level, the whisper campaign.
Yeah. So
have you ever heard this term, the whisper campaign?
I've heard it. I've seen it in action, man.
Okay, give me an example of kind of what you've seen.
Just an innuendo or a rumor started behind the scenes, planted at a specific place where they know it's going to escalate.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You're like, hey, don't say anything, but have you heard this? I can't believe he's running for office. Can you?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it spreads like wildfire. And the next thing you know, it comes back to the candidates. Well, what are they talking about? And it's just pure fabrication, all the time lies, or they heard something. Have you heard this?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That can't be true.
Or even at church. But put it on the prayer list, man.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah. So you're exactly right. Rumors, innuendo, slanderous statements are quietly conveyed in order to damage reputations and dry up funding sources and support. Right. Because the allegations are not made publicly, right? Because that'd be slander.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But they're behind the scenes and nobody can nail down who started this.
Yeah, and here's the bad part. The target, right? The target is in a catch-22 because if they come out and they deny it, it kind of maybe looks like, well, maybe it is an issue. Yeah. But if they don't, it still hurts them. And so that can hurt them, just in all kinds of ways, especially just getting the vote or raising any money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Talking about raising money, I think that we've seen examples of people in the past that they didn't spend a lot of money, and everybody thinks having a lot of money is an advantage. I tell you what, the biggest advantage for our local politicians, those people that want to, actually they're not politicians, they're just ordinary people that want to go and represent their constituents, that represent something. They get out, they shake hands, and we were talking about this before. They listen to people. The biggest issue that we have right now is those people that label themselves as politicians will not listen to the ordinary guy. Yeah. And the person that does that and actually brings that to the table on behalf, what they've heard, they convey the way they vote, the way they converse, the way they conduct themselves once they get in office. It's a slam dunk because people want authentic people They don't care about what their postcard says. They don't care about their signs. They want to see their character, and they want to see a listening ear.
So great story. On my way here, a candidate that's going to be running for county commission reached out to me and said he got his signatures, and he's super excited about that. And he said, I've had a really good time doing this, and I just got, I think he said he had like 30-something signatures. And he went by a lady's house today, and she had a bunch of questions that he couldn't answer. And so he went and got the answers and came back within just a couple of hours. Not only did that solidify a good relationship, he got that signature from that person and formed a good bond early on here. Now, he's got several months to go on with his campaign, but it was exciting to hear that. And he said, it is fun getting out talking to people.
Yeah.
And that's what people want.
Yeah. And when you're out and people know you after they start to meet you and they hear one of these little rumors that are floating around, they go, there's no way that's true. That's exactly. So that's how you combat this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Is be who you are. Don't be fake.
Exactly.
Just be real with people. And I think that helps people. But that's a rabbit we chased there a little bit. But what else you got, Brent, that you see happening? And
so similar to the Whisper campaign, we have the good old character assassination.
Yeah.
And what this looks like, this looks like maybe somebody that maybe when they were younger, they may have had a criminal record, but they either served their time or paid their dues or whatever. Somebody that's on probation, somebody that maybe is just not squeaky clean. You can guarantee that all that's going to come up. Now, you could say, well, that's fair. That's fair because it's public record. But it is a dirty trick because if this person's been, gone through whatever they've gone through and they're cleaned up, like I think that person deserves a second chance. But that's something that will be used. And they'll run a mailer on you.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it happen here in Bedford County, last election cycle. Last time we had a commissioner race.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, and we had a candidate get attacked over innuendo, and it wasn't a personal character deal. It was like a previous position and talking about how this person voted a certain way, and to without going into details, they made her unfavorable for the type position she was going into, and it backfired.
Yeah,
people know. They see a lot and they understand it.
I mean, it could be as simple as, you and I are at the ball game and we got a Yeti in the back and we pop a beer and all of a sudden, he's an alcoholic. He's an alcoholic, Yeah. And that's a character assassination, but it ties real close to that Whisper campaign because it can kind of, transfer into that gossipy.
And guess
Whisper
what?
Campaign.
They never will sign their name to those cards.
That's right.
Who sends them out? Some kind of action committee in another town, another county, and you can't track it down.
Yep.
But you know where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Exactly.
It's hilarious.
All right. So next would be a fear tactic. Now, I've seen this firsthand. And unfortunately, I think some very innocent people can kind of get caught.
Of course they
this.
can.
And I'm just going to give you an example of what I saw. I saw county employees be used in a fear tactic campaign.
Right.
It was budget time, looking at budgets, and the Whisper campaign started.
Yeah.
And then the fear tactics came in to mobilize a union and to mobilize county employees.
Right.
And got all these people thinking that, they were going to lose their jobs and lose income, knowing full and well that couldn't even happen, even if somebody wanted that to happen.
Exactly.
But it's just sad to see those kind of fear tactics used because people are just, basically just used as cannon fodder.
Okay, so what would motivate? Here's my question.
Yeah.
Is it these people are afraid? The fear campaign might be happening in reverse here. They're afraid.
Right.
So they feel threatened that they might lose some power.
Yeah.
So they go into attack mode like this.
And that's what I was going to say earlier. It's if you're seeing these tricks or these tricks are being used against you, it's kind of like the old adage, if somebody's not talking about you, doesn't like you, then you're irrelevant, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Never mind.
Especially in politics. Yeah.
Right.
But if these if these dirty tricks are being used against you, you can rest assured you're over the target.
I'll say this. If there's a smear campaign taking place in this next coming election locally, whoever's getting smeared, you better take a look at them real close and understand that's probably who you should vote for.
Possibly. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that you have to analyze like that. And I think it wears out the average voter to have to jump through all these hoops in their mind. What's real and what's not. It'd be great just to see a level playing field where everybody just said, this is what I'd like to do. This is how I want to represent you. And, this is who I am.
Yeah.
But you can't because you're defending yourself
when
this stuff is going on.
When you're on, I mean, defense wins games, but, offense scores more touchdowns,
right.
I think. And you have to be on offense as a candidate because you're listening to your constituents, you're getting the word out, you're having those conversations. But if you're spending 50 or 60% of your time on defense, it's hard to get that messaging out.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so next one is stacking. Now, this is a word that I came up with, stacking. So this is when, let's say you're a startup candidate. Like we have a lot of startup candidates.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's 61 people that have pulled their papers.
Yeah.
That's the most I can ever remember.
Now imagine this. You're new to politics and you're like, you know what? I really want to get some signs. I want to make sure that my messaging is correct. I've never done this before. I want to hire a local political type of marketing company. Well, guess who else wants to hire the local marketing companies? And what you'll see PACs go in and they'll lock them down, man.
Yeah.
They will lock down any kind of consulting firm, any kind of, political marketing firm within a freaking 200-mile area, and they'll lock them down. And then, when your local candidate that this is their first shot at this calls in April and says, hey, or in March and says, hey, I'm ready to get the ball rolling. Oh man, sorry, can't help you. Well, wait a minute. What do you mean you can't? So anyway, they have to do it themselves. And then it's not probably done as glossy or maybe as nice as it should be. Maybe some other things come into play, and then they're spending a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
And then that's a cascading of events. It just, again, it's a dirty trick, and it keeps people, especially startups, out of running for office.
Right. Well, it's a shame that type of stuff happens. And it honestly, I look at that. I would, if I were a candidate that had that happen to me, I would take it as a compliment because they know I'm a threat to winning.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have a leg up, I think, when stuff like that happens, because you can get out and be who you want to be. You tell everybody who you are, and that ground game.
Well, I was getting ready to say the ground
it's going to
game
blow that out of the water.
That's where you
at the county commissioner level, I think, Brent, that a consultant and political analyst and all this stuff is out the window, because you're talking about trying to get 500, 600, 700 votes to win a district seat. You can do that being yourself, and just shaking hands.
Doors. Exactly.
Absolutely. You don't need all that stuff. Now,
and this is more like mayor,
is different.
Mayor, or maybe a state seat or something, and that's all.
But if you see it happening at the commissioner level, you know you're a big time threat.
That's it.
So.
That's it. And then, and I just did 5 of these because I didn't want to belabor all of this. But
we got some comments.
Okay. What do we have?
Yeah, Anita Epperson's coming here. If you take any funding from a PAC, don't think they won't expect you to be obligated to them and vote the way they want you to vote and answer to them 100%. And I've seen this happen at the local level.
Yeah.
Bought and paid for.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Influence and power, special interest at the local level, to me, is one of the dirtiest things in politics. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It is. It is. And when you have the select few at the top, right?
Yeah.
That are basically telling the people that they got elected how to vote, that takes away power from the actual people in the community, because their agenda is totally different.
I'll say something I've heard
than the people's agenda.
This upcoming election cycle, I've heard this said, we got to get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
Or we got to make sure this guy don't win.
Right.
And it's coming from fear of representation to the people.
Right.
I mean, if you stand up for the people, the establishment is going to do everything they can to run you out.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the ways to run you out, David, is with an October surprise.
Okay. Now, what's the October surprise, Brent? Well, tell us what that is.
So that's the official name of what can happen. And it's usually something, and obviously in our upcoming race,
a week before.
It would probably happen in August or July, a week or two before. And what the infamous October surprise is, it's basically just a generic term for a negative attack that comes out shortly before an election, giving the target of the attack a little or no time to respond. If the attack is subject to denial or rational explanation, the interests of the informed electorate require that assertions be timed in such a way as to allow responses. And I know that was a little didactic there, but basically, when you get hit with an October surprise on top of the whisper campaign, the character assassination, the fear tactics, and the stacking, you're going to be bruised up, but just expect it, because it's coming.
If you're a threat, be prepared to have thick skin, man.
Yeah,
That's the
it.
bottom line.
That's it. That's it.
If you're a threat to the establishment power, they're going to come after.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But those are the top 5 dirty tricks. Now there's many, many more. I mean, you could go historically and look
Oh yeah.
at the presidential races all the way back before the Civil War, and there's some pretty interesting stuff. But I think these are the things that you'll see on a local level, and something to kind of quote a famous philosopher. This is something. If you get caught in this and you start looking in this dark hole, it can become you. You know,
right.
So it's just one of those things that if you start sticking your toe in this, it can overwhelm you.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that there's a lot of times there's a tendency when you're going through something like this, you might want to retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best retaliation is just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Yeah. And be who you are. And I know you mentioned earlier about maybe denying it or addressing it publicly if they attack you. I don't know what the answer is. It depends on each situation there. But I mean, that's the reason so many people will not run for office, because they don't want to have to deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to deal with it. You have to think logically and statistically, how you're going to run defense on some of this. Because I mean, if somebody's just flat out lying through some of these fear tactics or whisper campaigns, you have to acknowledge it and you have to address it.
Yeah. Let's kind of wind things down.
Yeah,
I want to get your assessment of our county situation right now with 61 people that have pulled their papers. A lot of different districts. Some commissioner races are going to have 6, 7, 8 people running in one district. Some 5 or 6, some 2 or 3. Okay. And it's kind of weird the way that breaks down, that we don't have an equal amount in all. Okay. The jumbled up ones where there's like 8. I think District 1's going to have 8 candidates.
That's insane.
Okay. Then you have, and I know it's not a secret, you've pulled your papers for District 5, and I think there's going to be 5 or 6 running. District 3's got a pretty log jam. 4's got 4 people running. How do you see these things playing out as far as incumbents winning and challengers making a threat and taking the seat?
So I think this is unique this year, and this is why. The old school thought process would say the more candidates that are running, it favors the constituent.
The incumbent.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it favors the incumbent. And that's the old way of thinking. And that statistically is true. However, I think this year is going to be different. I think this year is going to be different because we've got some people coming up that are new to the show, that have some good ideas, that are bringing some energy, and that have, I think, a better understanding of how this county works and what's been going on. They've been sitting back and watching. And so if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet that we're going to see some turnover, and not just a little turnover. We're going to see a lot of turnover. And I've kind of ran this through my head, and that's scary too, because, government has a certain way of working, and you need to, I think, have some leadership in a county commission, at least a few that have been around a while that can kind of help. But getting fresh blood in there is also very important. But it's crazy to think. Could you imagine this if they all flipped?
That'd
or
be crazy.
90% flipped?
Yeah.
I mean, then you'd be going through a little bit of a transition phase there as far as bringing everybody up to speed and what that looks like.
But here's the thing, Brent. It's all for representation.
That's right.
Of the people.
Yeah.
Okay. I look at some of the candidates and I was like, well, okay, they're representing the establishment. I see it. It's obvious. They're labeled. They got establishment written across their forehead. Okay. How in the world can
it be any worse?
20 well, how can 29,000 registered voters go in and think, okay, I'm going to flip the switch for that because I don't want representation? Okay. How many people think that through?
Well, it's making that connection, David, because they think they are. A lot of people think status quo is okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have the big dream, like so many of us do that are watching this right now, of what our county can be. Not where it's been, not where it is, but what it can be. And I think what it can be is a big part of why a lot of these people are running, because they've got new vision. Let's face it, they're younger. A lot of them are younger folks. I think that's great. And I'd like to see a huge turnover in a new direction. And whoever wins this mayoral race is going to have to show some leadership within the commission and, make sure folks are trained and ready to go and really represent their constituents the way they want to be represented.
What do you think the biggest drawback or the biggest hindrance? I will not call it a drawback. It's the wrong word to use. Why do you think there's a roadblock between our commissioners, our representatives, and the general public that they represent? What do you think is the roadblock there? Because you see well-intentioned people get engrossed into debating an item rather than listening to their constituents. What do you think is the biggest roadblock there?
Multiple things. I think you've got the apathy component. That would be a roadblock of the actual constituent. So many people aren't registered to vote, and people that are registered to vote, they go vote there one time and then they wash their hands of it and they're out of it. And so I think that, a lot of people don't show up to meetings. They don't know what's going on. And so it's hard to have that informed opinion. And then I think also you've got some elected folks where they've got it in their head what they want to do. And then on top of that, maybe a layer above that, they're told what to do. I mean,
yeah,
I said in many commission meetings, and I kid you not, David, and I know there's some commissioners watching right now, and they would agree. Some people in these commission meetings have no idea what they're doing.
Exactly.
And they're told how to vote. I mean, they will literally lean over. I think I had to call a point of order in one meeting because somebody was leaning over, asking somebody how to vote.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how's this happening?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah. I think though the key is, I believe, to be a true representative is wash your mind of what you want to do and be able to listen to the people. I mean, I keep saying we gotta have big ears.
Well, and just like
a representative,
and just like we said last week, it's that collaborative effort of the community and the actual representative, getting together, forming that relationship, having some cohesion and synergy to talk about the big subjects.
I think with today's technology that we have, with social media, with texting, there's no reason for a commissioner not to be able to push a button and reach his whole constituency or a bulk of it with one push of a button and take a poll to see what they think about a certain object.
Yeah.
It's easy. I mean, I put polls up all the time and people will participate if you frame the question right and give them the right choices.
Yeah.
They will participate in it and give you what they think.
And there's lots of mediums too. You can use Facebook, you can use Instagram. Maybe it could collaborate with the county's software and see if they could push something out for us,
Bulk text messaging. You get people to sign up for a list. Hey, if you want to have a direct input to your commissioner, sign up.
That's next level thinking.
It's just it's what people do in business these days.
It is.
And I don't understand why we can't take a generation leap from the past generation to the current generation and understand that we can communicate like that at that commission level, at the city council level, at any kind of representation, school board level even.
Yeah.
We've got the technology to communicate. And the lack of communication is horrendous based on what I've seen over the last 12 to 15 years. I'm just like, unbelievable. These people don't have a clue what their constituents are thinking right now.
Right.
And they're up here wondering what to do. I'll tell this one story and I'll let you come.
No, you go.
I had somebody talking to me about a particular vote. And this commissioner called and said, "What do you think?" I said, "It doesn't matter what I think. I'm not in your district. What do your people think? Have you talked to them?" Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go knock on some doors. I said, "Well, how do they want you to vote? They want me to vote against this." I said, "Well, are you going to vote against it? What's your constituents?" He goes, "I don't know." I said, "Guy, listen, your constituents are the ones that dictate how you vote."
Yeah.
He went and voted for it, and he didn't win his next election.
There you go. You have to listen to the people that put you in office.
Absolutely. It's just like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, just to kind of finish things up, let's talk about power consolidation.
All right.
What have you seen?
People might not understand what power consolidation is. Explain to people what power consolidation is.
Yeah. So that's when you have a block or a group of people that are in power.
Like 12 commissioners you can always count on.
Like 12 commissioners you can always count on. And they consolidate.
I didn't say that.
They consolidate that. They consolidate that power. And
now you're gonna want names, right? I'm not.
We're not going down the name thing, but So power consolidation is simply people that want to stay in power.
Yeah.
They have some tricks to stay in power, and I'm going to go through some of those.
Let's hear them.
People stay in power, and it's usually the people you don't want to stay in power.
Right.
People that
you see this at all levels too.
At all levels, So number one is just classic nepotism.
Yeah.
So nepotism is when you hire family and friends, with within the government
Yeah.
to keep things going and to keep things floating and to keep those whisper
Brent.
campaigns
Brent.
going.
I've heard
Yeah.
this one before. I can get you on.
I
can get you on. I can get you on. I can
Yeah.
get you on. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How much you pay? Hey, it's good, man.
Yep,
It's
yep.
good. And that's a political nepotism move right there.
That's right. That's right. And then, basically financially backing, county employees and putting them on the commission.
Yep.
I mean, it's just that easy.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in our last show. We're up to almost half of the county commission is county employees, right?
Yeah.
And we're not saying that county employees shouldn't run for county commission. They should. But when it comes raise time, you recuse yourself. And hopefully there's a line item budget at that time to recuse yourself.
That's an opportunity.
That's an opportunity, indeed. Stat committees, again, with people that are part of this power block. This is especially concerning because if you were to have the unfortunate situation of voting against your boss, now that could have serious consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're on one of these committees and
you're not on no more, you're out.
Right. Also, label you as a troublemaker or a pot stirrer.
Oh man, I've heard that so much.
Don't you love the pot stirrer?
The pot stirrer is the guy that just asks a question.
He's the guy that literally shows up, and like you said, he might ask one question, and then all of a sudden he or she is labeled, and it's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I understand. Seen it happen.
Let's see what else we got. One of the things, David, that you may or may not know that goes on behind the scenes is the Sunshine Law is broken.
What Sunshine Law?
Well, exactly. I don't think a lot of people know what the Sunshine Law is. So basically, no more than just a couple of elected officials can get together and have a conversation. If you go over that, that's violating law.
Well, if you are, the way the law reads, the way I've checked it out, is if you're having a discussion about a topic that's going to be coming up,
exactly,
and you pre-orchestrate how you're going to vote with this other person, and I think that we've actually seen, I haven't seen them personally, but I've heard, this group has met together and they're going to vote this way. Well, that's a sunshine violation.
That's a sunshine violation. So that's another way they stay in power is before the meetings, the phone calls are made.
The meeting's done when you walk in the room.
Or the meetings have been had, last week or maybe yesterday or maybe an hour before, but everybody's lined up and they know how they're voting. And ironically, it's such a violation. Even the other side knows how the side.
Well, I think that sometimes it's so well orchestrated and it's a well-oiled machine. They don't have to have the meeting. They know if this person brings up a motion, we're in automatically.
Right.
It's already predetermined.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever he brings up, we're in, and that's unfortunate. No legitimate discussion.
Something else that I've seen too is deflection of bad decisions.
Oh my gosh!
So, for example, you may have a situation to where there's a group of these power consolidators, elected, non-elected, or other groups that are in this soup of trying to get things done in their consolidation. They will back projects or businesses that 2 or 3 years later that turn out to be complete catastrophic disasters.
Let me think real quick. I can't think of any.
I can't think of any either, David, but I'm talking radioactive type stuff. That's the kind of stuff that, they don't want to be associated with that. And if you dare to bring it up, you are labeled, anti-business. You're labeled negative just for shedding light on some of the bad decisions that you had no part of and that you may have tried to shine a little sunshine on, whether it was asking for a certain report, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, like a environmental impact study.
Like an environmental impact study would be a great example. Yeah. And so I think, the people can make their own conclusions about what we're talking about.
They know.
I know a lot of this. Everybody knows. Everybody's seen on some level. They may just not have heard it in this kind of order. But I would encourage anybody that's running for office. I would encourage anybody that's voting or remotely involved in politics or care about our county to watch for some of this going on. Because when you see it, it's kind of like one of those things, once you see it, you'll never forget it.
Yep.
And now that you have the knowledge to see it and recognize it, it's going to be.
It's I think an educated voter pool.
Yes,
is the biggest fear that the
that's
establishment
the
has.
biggest fear. That's the
Yeah.
biggest fear. Yeah.
There's a couple of comments. Let's
Sure.
see. It says, invite Andrew McReynolds to your show. All candidates are invited to come on and have a meet the candidates interview. And we'll be doing that with as many as possible. They're all open. Now, some are not going to come on here because they think I'm going to try to trick them. But I got 5 questions for everybody. And it's just a level playing field at that point.
Yeah.
So all candidates have been invited through all of our shows. We've posted it on Facebook. I've had a lot of people reach out and they're scheduling their interviews.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And I think that's good because that is part of educating our voter pool, letting people know who these folks are that are actually running. Let them tell their story.
Right.
I mean, it's no better. You can read it on a postcard. You can read it on Facebook, but there's nothing like hearing it come right out of their mouth.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's the best.
Agreed.
All right.
Any other questions on there?
No, not really. Brian Brent is coming up. Said Jared Jones. He's talking about us. Oh, no way. We're not talking about anybody specifically, are we, Brent? No, okay. Of course not. All right. We're going to get out of here and we're going to come back again soon and talk about some more stuff, topics that people are interested in, things that just needs to be talked. Some things that people just won't talk about need to be talked about.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to open that door, Brent.
I think
you're not either. So
yeah. And I think when you can talk about things without pointing fingers and calling people names, you're just basically talking about what's going on in your community, good, bad, and indifferent, whatever. At least that's engagement, and it can cause some healing too.
Oh yeah. And here's one thing, and you said it, I think maybe our last sit down conversation, and I'll say it again, and I think you'll reiterate it. No matter about all this stuff, I am bullish on Bedford County.
I'm bullish on Bedford County. And the whole reason I think we're doing this, I know we're doing this, is to move the ball forward.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We'd like to see a better Bedford County. And I know that everybody out there watching wants to see a better Bedford County, but this is a process that we have to go through to get better, I think.
Yeah, and it could take another good term or two. Yeah. But if we start now on a path with some great new candidates and some great new blood on this county commission and in the mayor's role as well, I think we have a true opportunity if we can keep the special interest out and if we can do what the actual community wants. Yeah. We have a chance to do something that nobody's done in Middle Tennessee. And here's something else, David. One of the benefits of being a little late to the game, as far as growth, maybe some other things.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
Is that we have seen what bad looks like.
Yeah, we've seen what not to do.
And we've seen what good looks like. Yeah. And so really we're in the catbird seat as far as good, clean growth that's not too crazy, but maybe just enough. We're in the catbird seat of what not to do when it comes to certain things that we build or we don't build. I think we're in a great seat. We've got a good idea of the kind of businesses we want to bring here. We want to bring businesses that employ people in Bedford County. They can take advantage of our new tech school. All these things are what I think is going to truly bring us in to the fold up to our contemporaries here in Middle Tennessee to make us a place people really want to be. And I think, man, we're so close.
Yeah.
But we've got to get the right people in office to get us there.
Right. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Tune in again for our next edition of Conversations. We don't know when that'll be, but we'll post it so you'll know. Thanks for watching, and you have a great evening.